Okay, what's going on? All right, listen, I'm going to give this analogy to you, okay? And I want you to, in particular, ladies, I mean, this is going to be difficult because, you don't, you don't think like men do. But I need you to comprehend what I'm saying, okay? We can all agree that if we were going out there to buy a box of cereal and it was priced at $3.50, we would all agree that's that's a fair market value for a box of cereal at this particular point. In fact, one would probably run and get two boxes of cereal because prices are going up, and we would probably want to take advantage of that for as long as we can, right? But if I came to you and told you, and I moved the decimal place to the right, and I told you the box of cereal is $35, would there be people that buy the box of cereal? Sure. Sure, there would. Someone would buy that box of cereal. But what would most people do? Most people would turn away. Most people would say, I, I don't, I'm not going to pay $35 for a box of cereal. Heck, some people might say, well, if that's the going rate for boxes of cereal now, then I'm not a cereal eater anymore. And see, that's the commonality. See, and here's what we know about women. As long as women aren't in their feelings about something that you say, that maximizes their opportunity to be able to or want to comprehend what you're saying. But if you say something to a woman, now if that woman was selling that box of cereal, you would and it meant so much to her, no matter what it meant to the market, because it means so much to her, anything below what she thinks she should get for that box of cereal is going to cause turbulence for her. That's how it is. And that's how, and it's not only women that have emotional ties to something. All of us are guilty of having, at some point or another, emotional ties to something that we don't want to let go or that we over evaluate. So I'm gonna use this comparison, and it's gonna trigger you as a woman if you're not careful. So all I'm asking you to do is take a deep breath. This is not personal. I want you to get the understanding of what I'm trying to say from a male perspective so that you know and understand how it works and why our women have been taking L's for a lot of time because they get into their feelings about what I'm about to say. They don't say this, but the analogy causes them to get into their feelings. And the analogy I'm going to use in comparison is very much so the reason that this analogy has been used before. All right. So if you turn what I'm saying off, the best thing to do is to turn it off right now. It ain't even for you. If you are feeling based and you get in your feelings real easy, just turn this off right now. Don't even waste your time listening to this any further. But if you can get through what I'm saying and think about what I'm saying from a logical standpoint, you will understand what I mean about women in the dating market. All right, here we go. So you've heard songs like "You Remind Me of My Jeep," or you've seen men who've had nice cars, special cars that they have names for, or they call. their special car, her, and have that name for them or whatever the case may be, right? And you wonder why that's very uh, male chauvinistic or whatever the case may be. But let me just explain why it is a good analogy. Now, women aren't materials. That's not what I'm saying. I'm speaking of the analogy. I'm going to break down the analogy of a car and what happens. Okay. All right. So, first, I'm going to explain how a car comes into fruition and then what ends up happening to a car. All right. And I just want you to just remember what I'm saying. A car is made up of various parts, just like a woman. She has everything that she needs inside of her, but it's for an appointed time. She has all of the eggs that she needs. All of her value is right there. But the value doesn't shine until it comes together, right? So this so the car has doors, it has engine parts, it has transmission parts, it has maybe some leather that's there. It's just right now it's just a pile of stuff. And so when people walk past a pile of stuff, there is no imagination, and men are visual creatures, right? Remember that. So even though you have a bunch of stuff just in a pile, somebody it has to come together. Okay, so now the parts are in a warehouse, and there is different types of uh, people and or machinery that is programmed to make a specific design based on the parts that they have. Okay, so they go through their process. They put all of the pieces in the inside together. They put the transmission where it goes. They put the engine where it goes. They put the steering wheel, the windows, the doors. They put everything together. They put the frames together. They put the body together and everything like that. And then a color is selected for it. And so whatever that color is, let's just say it's your favorite beautiful color, and it comes together. And then the design of it, the shape of it, and everything, the aerodynamics, all of that other stuff like that too. Well, it's the same thing with the little girl when she's born, okay? She has everything that she needs together or whatever the case may be. And as she gets a little older, she gets a little more mature, she gets taller, her hair starts to grow, her the contours of her face starts to shape, her height. She establishes her height. She grows breasts. She grows a butt of whatever size it is, whatever shape it is, or whatever the case may be. And then along the way, she's taught how to take care of herself. She's shown how to do things that girls do, whatever the case may be, that makes girls wonderful and pretty. The sugar, spice, and everything nice, right? And so same thing with a car. Cars put all together and everything like that, and it's nice. Let's just pretend it's your favorite car, because every year there was a car that was an it car in that year. That's why they vote on them every year. So now cars are made to be sold, right? So they're made to be sold, and so once that car is created and made, uh, there's a board of people that get together and say, well, what do we want to sell this? What should this car go for in price? Well, it cost us this much to do this. So they take all of those things into consideration. And then once they have done everything, they look at the car, they think about the color, the appeal of it, or whatever the case may be, they come up with a price. And you probably have heard of this, or you may not have, but it's called an MSRP price. And that MSRP price is the price that the car should go for. Okay? Now, there could be the same two different types of cars, but they may not sell at the same price. So then that is predicated on the dealership that gets that car, okay? And they say, okay, so the MSRP on this car is this, So they have to find a balancing act between how much above the MSRP they can sell it for. They can't get too stupid. If they get too stupid, folks won't want to buy it. But if 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 they can sell it over the market price within a reasonable time, then they'll sell that over the then they'll sell it for that. But if they're not careful, then they'll go the whole year, the car won't sell, and then when the car doesn't sell, the car just sitting there will lose its value. It loses its value when you drive off the lot, but it definitely loses its value the older the car gets. Okay? And I know some of you are thinking, yeah, well, what about an antique piece or whatever the case may be that doesn't have a lot of miles on it, or this, that, and the other? Yes, there is a value that it goes down, and then it can have somewhat of a rise later on depending on the condition of the car. But keep in mind, even if you have an antique car and it doesn't have mileage on it or wear and tear on it or whatever the case may be, it didn't gain really any value. It just held its value better than others because you're thinking of wine now. You're thinking of if something, the older something gets, the better something gets. Yes, without use. But if I'm sipping on that wine, the older it gets, because it's been open, it's going to go bad like anything else. Same thing with a woman. When a woman, let's just say a woman she's like, let's just say she's 18 to 22, 23 years old or whatever the case may be. That is her window. That is her window where she is shiny, she is new, she has appeal of the highest value that she's going to ever have. She is not going to be 22 years old, and she is not going to look and be better at 32 years old. That's just not what it is, okay? Now, she can look, you can have a picture of a woman who looks exactly the way she looks at 22, at 32, the way she looks at 22. You'd be like, man, I really can't tell the difference. But trust me, she will tell you she can feel the difference. She can feel the difference. She's had the same parts. She's been walking around in the same body for a 10-year period longer. And even though to the eye it doesn't look like that she has aged at all, she will tell you she feels just at least a little different than she did at 22. And more importantly, she probably, to maintain that, she probably has to do things that she didn't have to do in her 20s that she has to do in her 30s just to keep up with the appeal and the look. I know some women that are just some completely gorgeous and they're in their 50s. Gorgeous in their 50s. But they will tell you they don't have the same get up about them that they used to have. And they may be doing better than most people their age. But Father Time's undefeated. And when a car, back to the car. So when a car, let's just say the MSRP on a car is $30,000. Okay? And you have that car on display. That means it is ready to go. It doesn't serve the dealer any purpose holding on to the car. That car, they want to sell that car as soon as possible. So because they want to sell that car as soon as possible, they just can't sell it for however much they want to sell it over. They have to sell it within reason. They have to sell it within reason. So car consumers come. They're looking for cars. They're looking at all different types of cars. And here's this one car that's just beautiful. And everybody's looking at the car. So when supply and demand. So when everybody's looking at the car, then the dealer can say, I wonder what I can get for it. But they still have to be within reason. Because it can be a nice car. But if they give a price that's overvalued, that's going to scare potential buyers off. And with the technology available now, people can look online and see how much the car should go for. So it's really not like it used to be back in the 90s and the 80s or earlier, where a lot of the information was controlled by the industry. Now information is so readily available to everyone. So now the dealer doesn't really have any wiggle room, and this is why places like CarMax are so successful, because they don't have any haggle. This is their price. They don't negotiate it, and nobody gets taken advantage of at CarMax like they would a traditional dealership with all the haggling that's going on. All right. So it's the same thing about a woman. A woman is 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25 years old. Let's just say in that 18 to 25-year-old range. I mean, she's bad. Don't get it wrong. She's bad. She got it going on. She's probably finished with puberty. Her skin is looking as good as it's looking. She has a body. She doesn't. For those who don't like muscular women, which ain't nothing wrong with that, she has a natural body where she just looks so beautiful. Everything is where it's supposed to be. Oh, she just, she can. There isn't an outfit that she doesn't see that she says to herself, I wonder if I would look good in that. If the outfit looks good, she's going to look good in the outfit. It's just what it is. It's just a matter of preference. Do you like them taller? Do you like them shorter? Do you like them thicker? Do you like them slimmer? You know what I'm saying? So it's just all working for her. It's effortless for her. She wakes up in the morning. She doesn't really regulate her diet. She doesn't really have to go to the gym. Everything just lays out the way that it's supposed to lay out. Now, here's where it gets tricky. Nope. Before I tell you where it gets tricky, let me go ahead and continue down the line. But I'm going to finish with the cars. So the car is put on the market. It's on display. It's ready to be sold. Well, now you say, all right, I'm going to sell this car that's worth $30,000. I'm going to try to sell it. I'm going to see if I can get maybe like $33,000 for it. And you see people coming around and they say, hey, look, I'd like to buy that car for $33,000. I'd like to buy that car for $33,000. And you say, man, if I can get $33,000 for it, then maybe I should try to get $35,000 for it. 35. I can get 35. Okay, let me see if I can get 37 for it. 39. Okay, maybe I can get 40 for it. I could really make a profit. So I'm going to try to get 40 for it. Okay, you get to whatever point it is with that car, and then you start to see the customer's interest start to tail off a little bit. And the reason that it tails off a little bit is because the customer feels like, okay, as much as I like that car is not worth that price. It's just not worth that price. And everything's got a price, right? And when you get married, that's paying the ultimate price, right? And so women want access to relationships. And so when men give access to the relationships, it's really down to price. It's about what is he willing to do and what is he willing to go through. So price is not necessarily monetarily. It's time-wise, effort-wise, energy-wise. All of those things compute a MSRP, if you will, in relationships in terms of a wife, right? And one woman might say, hey, look, this is the lifestyle I expect. This is what I want, blah, 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 blah. And you can look at that as a man and you can say, I can give you that. Or, you know what? I feel like you're worth that. But in today's world, you have a lot of women that are delusional about their price. They have just for the sake of this argument, let's just say they have an MSRP of $30,000, where some of these women are asking for $100,000. And it's just like, what they're bringing to the table for you is not worth $100,000 to you. You can get just as good of a woman for much less headache than you could with this particular woman. Because make no mistake about it, women are beautiful. But that's the thing. Women are beautiful, and it's all different. It's not one type for a man. A man can be attracted to a woman for a litany of reasons from what he sees. So Just because a man thinks, oh my gosh, I fell in love with this woman, doesn't mean he can't fall in love with another woman. Doesn't mean that he can't look at another woman and be madly attracted to her. But that car, it goes out there and it just, the dealer doesn't know what they're doing. They just, instead of selling the darn car, and here's the thing, if they don't sell the car by a certain amount of time, okay, let's just say, since this is year 2022, let's say they got some 2023s that came in and they don't sell those. They have a certain amount of them that come in and they're not put on the parking lot to look pretty. Yes, they do look pretty, but they're put on the parking lot. They're put on the car lot to sell. The car lot is a billboard for people to come around, look at those cars, and then pick which one they like and then buy it. So the cars are made to go. And that's the thing about women. Women have a small time window where they can get the best that they can get for what they offer. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm not trying to say we're out here buying women. What I'm trying to say, flow with me, is there is a window of opportunity where a woman can get the maximum of what she seeks. And she should not be so greedy. She should just be realistic about what she can get. Because here's what happens to cars at the end of the year that don't sell. You know, everybody likes to buy a car towards the end of the year. Why? Because dealerships are trying to get rid of that inventory. So they're willing to sell it for a price that they're not willing to sell it when they first get it. And they're willing to do this because if they don't sell it, then the next year the car value goes down, or what they're going to have to do is they're going to have to find a way to get rid of the car if the consumer doesn't buy it. And now, let's just say a pre-owned dealership wants the car. The pre-owned dealership will do their due diligence and get the car. But see, game can't be ran on a pre-owned dealership like it can a consumer. Like the dealer was trying to run on all of those consumers and trying to get bang for buck. If the only thing the dealership sells is brand new cars, they can't have those used cars on their car lot. I'm being extreme here, but I'm just saying it's factual. If they only sell brand new cars, which it's rare to find a dealership that only sells new cars, but let's just say for the sake of argument, if they only sell new cars, then they got to get rid of all of those cars before the end of the year as best as possible. If they don't, they have to sell it to another party, and another party is going to sell it with in mind how much they think they can get for it. So it'll be the same haggle process of a pre-owned, but the pre-owned haggle process is a little more loose in terms of the regulations, if you will, of a brand new car, right? And if the dealer doesn't sell those cars, right? Let's say they don't sell those pre-owned cars, which they typically will, but they will sell the car under what the original MSRP is. Now, here's where it gets confusing for ladies. Now, MSRP isn't not a monetary number for women, but what I'm saying is that the quote-unquote MSRP for a woman is her value. It's her value. And the dating market dictates her value. The dating market sets her value. Not her girlfriends, like she listens to. Not her idea of herself. Not her going out there and getting degrees. Not her going out there and adding all of these other exterior features to herself. Just because she gets a spoiler put on her car. Just because she gets some rims put on her car. That is not what men really care about. Your value is centered around your creation. That's what it's centered around. So ladies, I need you to stop thinking that you can go out there in the world and you can add value to yourself. When you go out there in the world, you add mileage, wear and tear to yourself. even if it's not from a relationship standpoint. Life is cold. World is cold. So everything that you experience in an encounter has an effect on you, your behaviors, and your habits. And some of your behaviors and habits may not bode well for you. I remember when I was in college, my coach used to tell me, now it didn't work out for me for college football, but my coach used to tell me the difference between me and everybody else that he recruited was that because I was a novice to the sport, that I was more shapeable and moldable. I didn't have to go through a lot of bad habit breaking to get myself to the place that I needed to get to. Other guys, they played Pop Warner, they played junior high, they played high school, and they developed, because of their superior athleticism over everybody else, they got away with the bad habits that they have. Now they have to be coached out of those bad habits. They have to unlearn and relearn. Well, I just had to learn because I was new. I had started playing football when I was a senior. Anyway, forget about me. Back to the car. If that car doesn't sell at the MSRP of $30,000 and doesn't sell within a certain time frame, no matter if that car has been driven around or not, it's going to lose value. Because just the oxygen alone is going to break it down at some point. Take a brand new car, let it sit there, and don't start it. And watch what happens. The car may not start after a certain period of time, right? Just because you're not using something doesn't mean that it's preserved. It's going to lose just based on existing, being in existence. Okay? Anything that has a begin date has an end date, so I shouldn't use existence. Anything that have a begin date has an end date. So you say, well, gee, what does all that have to do with the woman? Well, here's where it gets. The most formidable years for a woman is in her early to mid 20s. Why do I say not her whole 20s? Because when a woman hits 30 years old, her risk for having children becomes higher. And a man that wants to get married, it really doesn't benefit him getting married unless he wants to have children, right? And marriage presents a safer environment for him to have his children because everything's together, everything's all there. And it's a safe place. It's really a safest place for a woman because it helps ensure that a man will be there more so than it would if she had a child without getting married. A man, it doesn't make as much sense for him to get married to have children. He can still accomplish his goal of having children without getting married and not feel any type of way about it. But marriage is for the security of a woman. It predominantly is. It does have, if it goes well and if she has the right intentions, it can be something very good for a man. But today's marriage is not necessarily good for a man because, you know, at the rate women are leaving marriages, it's not good. So here's where it gets culturally different. And in particular for people these melanated people like ourselves, when it comes to our women, this is the difference between our women and all other ethnicities of women. Our women seem to think that during these most precious years of being able to acquire the best mate that you can find as a woman, our women feel like our women feel like relationships and or marriage is a huge distraction from them accomplishing their goals versus other ethnicities of women. Anglo-Saxon women, Russian women, Asian women, Middle Eastern women, and any other kind of woman that you name has no problem going after some of her dreams and goals while securing a relationship in her 20s. She has no problem with it and understands it's not a distraction with the right kind of person. But our women feel like, no, 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 no. I'm not going to put myself in a situation where I should get in a relationship at this age. I'm going to go out there and I'm going to focus on my studies. I'm going to focus on my career, and I'm going to focus on my acting, and I'm going to focus on this, and I'm going to focus on that. And that stuff will be there later. I'm a beautiful woman. Hear me roar. So now, after all of that happens, a man comes and he presents himself and he says, and he offers the right price. He says, hey, look, and this is the right price when you want to get married. You say, hey, listen, you're someone that I can grow to love and be with, spend my life with, have children with, and build something with. I want to be with you, and I want to be serious with you. Well, the melanated woman will be like, nope, I can't give you that right now. I'm not doing this right now, this, that, and the other way. And the guy, he may kind of may look like he hanging around, okay? But if another opportunity comes and he takes it, he's out of the market for you. And what happens to our women is they go through their 20s. They're beautiful, they're gorgeous. They go and they get all of these experiences, all of these certificates, all of these merits, all of these degrees, this, that, and the other, whatever the case may be, right? And then, they want to have some fun sometimes or whatever the case may be. So they do some things that they don't want to tell anybody else they're doing, but they're doing them. Excuse me. They doing all of these things. And then what ended up happening is after they do all of these things in their life, they just go on and on and on. After they do all of those things in their life, guess what? Now they've reached this point where they either don't feel like doing those things as much anymore, or when those came along the way and made an offer to them, they just kind of put them on the shelf, their imaginary shelf. Oh, John, you're interested in me? Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put you on a shelf right here. Like they will friend zone him, or they'll keep in touch with him. They'll laugh. They may go out and do some things with him or whatever the case may be to show a little bit of, there might be something there, just to keep him peaked. But here's what men will do. Men, like if a woman is sitting there and she's waiting to, let's say a woman is waiting to have sex until she's married. Well, if she's waiting and he's not waiting, he may not mind you waiting, but he may be doing his thing while you're waiting. He's just not telling you. He'll tell you what you want to hear. Yeah, I'll wait for you. Well, are you seeing anybody else, Johnny? Come on now. What kind of question is that? As much as I like you. He'll say whatever he got to say because he want to see if he can get in there. So, again, my apologies, but if you think about this, and what I was basically saying about women is if a woman gets to a point where she's tired of running around, she's tired of playing the games, whatever the case may be, she done shelved Johnny, she done shelved Jimmy, she done shelved Jamal, Steve, Todd, whoever else, she done shelved all of those guys. It builds her confidence and her ego because she is starting to understand what men are willing to do for her. And so she keeps trying to see if she can take it to another level. She has this never settle mentality, right? So she feels like, look, John was tall. James was muscular. This one right here, he was a great lover. Or this one right here, he had money. So she starts to have this semblance of, I'm going to see if I can find a man that has all of those qualities. So she waits out for it. Excuse me. So she she holds out and she waits out and she holds out and she waits out for it. Meanwhile, she's out there running and she's just acquiring more trauma, more knowledge, more experiences, and it's actually damaging her MSRP for the dating market. But she doesn't feel that way about it. She doesn't feel that way about it. She goes out there and everything she's accomplishing and everything she acquires, she thinks that actually helps her with even more, have more value when it comes to the market. But that stuff doesn't do anything. And she's upset in her feelings that it doesn't do anything. And she demands that her market value increases. But a woman is designed with every value that she has already in her. And it doesn't get any better once she hits that peak. It's all downhill from there. So her best bet is to get what she can get with what she got at the time that she can get it. If something of worthy value presents himself to her. Let me say, because that sounds confusing. If she can just use her, if she can understand her value, her market value, and get the best that she can get with her market value, that's who she wants, that's who she should be with and build with. There's a couple of things she's got to check off to make sure he's right and has the right mindset. Because there's some jerks in every age group, but you got to have somebody with the right mindset in terms of the peak of what she can get. Instead of, if you've got a $30,000 evaluation on a car, there is no need, no point, and no sense in trying to get a $100,000 return on that. Is it possible? Yeah, somebody may come along and offer you $100,000 for your $30,000 tail. But guess what? If that's the example that's set for all of our women, which it is, then none of our women will be able to find someone that's on their level. And it's about making sure you understand what level you're on and not over-evaluating yourself. You have women out here who they tell you, hey, on a scale of 1 to 10, what would you say that you are? I'm a 10. And it's like, I love the confidence in yourself. I do. But the market ain't got much to do with your confidence. The market got everything to do with your market value. And you don't get to determine your market value. And that's what seems to upset a lot of women, that they don't get to determine their market value. How you going to tell me that I'm $30,000? I'm worth more than $30,000. You are worth what you are worth. And the market's going to tell you. Even when I was in my young and in my hay, right? I couldn't go anywhere and get any girl that I wanted to. I could go and get girls, and I could go and get some good-looking women. But there were certain women that I just knew that that wasn't for me. That's not my league. I'm not in their league, or they're not in my league, or whatever it is, and however it kind of chalks up. I just knew that I could not go out there and dictate whatever it was that I wanted. Because with a higher caliber of woman, especially age, it's going to come a level of expectation. And there was only but so much that I could produce. So I had to be real with myself. And when I tried to go outside of that market, the only time that I was successful, some semblance of, in terms of getting what I wanted, I had to lie. I had to lie. And I did not do that like a lot of guys do. Because a lot of guys, they really don't want much. They just want to get access to the juice box. And if they want access to the juice box, they will say whatever they got to say to get access to the jukebox. The juice box. Yeah, the jukebox too, because we making music. All right, so again, back to what I'm saying. So what makes so the problem is when you don't understand about your biological clock, your window of opportunity to secure the best possible man that you can. Understanding what that is. If you're a $30,000 MSRP, then you need to be looking in the $30,000 MSRP kind of guy. You are who you are. You get what you get. Now, a man can raise his value because a man starts with no value. And I'm not dissing our men. I'm not dissing us. What I'm saying is when we come into this world, everything that's given, everything that we get, we have to earn it. Women don't have to earn things the same exact way that men do. They choose to earn it that way. Because if women operated in their full femininity, they would get access to things that men can't get access to. Women aren't designed to have to try and work like men are designed to. They're just not. If a man wants access to the VIP lounge, he got to pay for it. He's not going to be able to be in line with a whole bunch of people and be told, come on, you, and you guys come this way, and give them access to VIP. No, it's not going to work like that because that's just not what the market dictates. But women do. So you can have you can have a bunch of women, and then you can have in those bunches of women, you could have the most attractive of the women. They're going to be pointed out, and they're going to be giving a particular type of treatment because they are very attractive. They're going to get into VIP. They don't have to pay for that. The drinks, they don't have to pay for that if they're beautiful. Getting hit on at the bar and being taken out to dinner, they don't have to pay for that. Their beauty pays for it. Their beauty gets them the attention that they need and or want. And some of them get so much attention, they take it for granted, and they might not want attention. A guy says, oh my gosh, you are so beautiful. At first, when she hears it, it's just like, thank you. But after a while, she's heard it so much, it's like, okay, what do you want? Oh, you know what? I'm not interested. Sometimes you can say hello to a woman and she'll say, I'm not interested. But I was just saying hello to you. Yeah, but I'm not interested. Hello. As if bullcrap. You want the ultimate outcome with me, and I'm not with it. So ladies, you're going to have to understand that there is a window of shopping opportunity for you to get exactly the best that you can get. And oftentimes, because you're a woman, you don't have to go look for it. All you have to do is to reside in your purest element, and he's going to come for you. And when he comes for you, all you have to know is how to read your keys to determine if he's worthy. And if he's worthy, the best thing for you to do is sink your claws in that, because you don't know, just because this looks like a great opportunity, you cannot have the mindset that, oh, I'm pretty sure something even better will come along, because everything that glitters ain't gold. See, the guy that you're looking for, that he makes, that young 25-year-old man who makes millions of dollars a year, who looks real good, tall, dark, handsome, whatever the case may be, all of the features you want, blow your back out, whatever the case may be. Don't you think he knows those things about himself too? And he may get an opportunity to get away with being a jerk even more, because there's more women out there. And if it don't work out with you, he's not mad. Sure, he wants to get with you and he wants to smash. But guess what? He doesn't even care if he doesn't smash, if he has a litany of women coming after him all the time, because women see men that have symbols of money, and they will always run to the front of the line, and they will always clamor and clout chase. And so you might not be a clout chaser, but you got to deal with the clout chasers. So it's certain things that, because you're a lady, that you won't do. The clout chaser, she's willing to do. She's willing to get as nasty as she needs to get in position to get what it is that she wants, whether it be temporary or permanent. And these guys that you want to date, or these guys that you want the attention from, that got all of the features that you want them to have, they know 9 times out of 10 that they have those features, and they know they have the leverage. And where there's great demand, okay, I mean, the price goes up when the demand goes up. When nobody's buying, the price got to go low, which brings us back to you. When you take and waste your most precious years doing frivolous and meaningless things. Now, I'm not saying they're not meaningful to you, but what I'm saying is, when you do those things for yourself, look at your elders and see when they've gone after their own things and negated, trying to find during their most precious years what they were supposed to try to find and secure. They will all tell you their regret. They will all tell you their regret if they are broken down. Some ladies, not ladies, but some women, they will sit there and they will be prideful and make you feel like they've got everything that they're looking for. Yeah, they may drive the cars they want to drive. They may have the houses they want to have. They may have traveled where they wanted to travel. But guess what? If the value that you have is not transferable, what good is the value to just you? I used to have this green Mitsubishi Eclipse. It was, man, I love that car. That car, since the first time I rode in the car when it was brand new, it was like unbelievable to me. Unbelievable to me. And I held on to the value of that car in my mind. But that car was getting rusty. That car, I mean, the struts and the shocks start going on that car. I mean, you go across a bump and it was like, for like 4 or 5 seconds after you went over a bump. I mean, the car had issues galore. And I still held on to that thing. It started, ran, and to me, in my mind, it was like a dream come true. But that car was not. You know how I ended up getting rid of that car? I ended up donating the car. Because it was doing me no good sitting around with all those problems that weren't worth fixing. And then that's how you get, when you get in your 30s and your 40s and everything like that, you start gaining problems. And it's just like, does a man want to even work with you and fix you on those things? Like, it's one thing to grow with a problem. Okay, when you make a covenant commitment to someone and they develop problems, well, half of the time you're part of the reason that they have those problems. You know, working with that's your problems too. But you come with a whole bunch of problems because you done went out there and you done got ran up, you done got miled up, and you done got jammed up, and now you want somebody to come and evaluate you at what your MSRP was when you hit the showroom floor. You don't get the same MSRP. So if you could get $30,000 for your car or whatever the case may be, now you know they offering you $10,000 for it. They're offering you $5,000 for it. They offering 6 coupons and a bucket of chicken for your car now, and you're upset because you're offended because I can't believe they're offering me 6 coupons and a bucket of chicken for this. For this? Yeah. You are not who you were. Now, you got all of this trauma. You done been through all of these men. You done got all of this pain and suffering that you're dealing with. Your behaviors are different. You know, you done been sick. You done been hurt. You done been down. You done been out. You done been bruised. You done been rammed up. You done been slapped up, flipped, rubbed down, and everything in between, and you still want to have the same evaluation that you had when you hit the showroom floor. You don't get to do that. Where did they get to do that? Oh, well, it's got to account for something. I mean, I graduated first in my class. It's got to count for something. I mean, I have a job making well over six figures a year. I can build with someone, whatever. A lot of times guys know that the money that you have and all that other stuff like that, he don't have access to that bag. You ain't going into the situation saying, you know what, I'm willing to take all of the money. You make $150,000, $200,000, $300,000 a year or whatever it is you make. You're not going into a relationship with a guy saying, no worries. I'll pay all of the bills. I'll pay all of the rent, the mortgage, whatever it is. I'll pay all of those things. Just be with me. Yeah, right. You don't want to be with a guy like that, because guys that was offering you all of that, guys that were offering you all of the things that you're willing to offer, you turned that down. You turned down Larry, Tim, John, Steve. You turned all them down when they was ready to be your man. They were ready to produce for you. They were ready to provide for you. They were ready to protect you. They were ready to grow with you, build with you, have children with you, and all of the other stuff like that. That man was ready to risk it all for you, and you turned all of that down. And now you're telling me that you're at such a place where you're willing to just settle for company. When that's all a real man is looking for in the first place, is company. That other stuff that you have, that's great. But he was just looking for company. And what did you do? You turned down that. You could have still went and got your degree and all that stuff, and that stuff could have been cool. It could have been nice icing on the cake. But you lost now. Now you're in a situation where you got to settle for something. Because see, guess what? Now that you in your 30s or your 40s or your 50s, guess what? The dude that you with, he gonna come with baggage too. Lots of it. Now he may be still a good looking guy. But he probably got kids now, and he may not want more kids. And you may not have had kids, or maybe you already had kids and don't want any more kids. Maybe he wants kids still, and you don't want to have kids, so you can have kids. Or your last pregnancy was so bad, you don't want to take the chance of getting pregnant again. Or you went and you got yourself your tubes tied, burned, whatever the case may be. Now what? You're going to have to deal with some things that the older you get, the more stuff you're going to have to deal with that you probably didn't want to deal with in the first place. But now you know you don't have really any option except to deal with it. You might be able to, with your good looks, be able to get a good looking caliber man, or get a man that's got some money or something like that. But guess what? He comes with a whole lot of stuff that you're going to have to deal with. That ain't yours. That was created by somebody else's mess through his experience. So when I say that a woman being compared to a car, albeit some people don't like that example, I didn't say that that's the example that I would set, but I'm just saying that has been in our stereotypes in terms of our culture, where women have been compared to cars. Why buy the car without a test drive? And all? We've done that stuff before, and I didn't invent that, so don't kill the messenger. I'm just saying that there are some similarities that make sense. There is a small window of opportunity for you ladies to get the best that you can get. But see, here is the thing. A woman can build a man up or tear a man down. Just because you meet a man that's here doesn't mean that he's always going to be here. If you work with that man, he can reach new heights. You're supposed to come into a man's life to magnify him. But today's modern woman comes into a man's life and she wants everything already at peak level. Already there. Don't have to do anything. Just step right in and enjoy labor fruits. She want all of the labor to be done before she gets to him. She don't have to work for anything. And really, how would you really feel if somebody is super duper established and everything like that? You'll feel like, well, what do I have to bring to this guy? The way you're thinking. Instead of saying, I can be an excellent companion. I can be an excellent helpmate. And see, in those vital years, in your peak years, your abilities are oftentimes the greatest. Just a little guidance, a little bit of nurturing, and a little love. But your sharpness, your quickness to be able to catch on, to do things, to be able to, those things are like at your, how and when did you look like? Now, I know some of you say, yeah, but the experience and the wisdom that I have. Yeah, listen, experience and wisdom is great. I ain't taking nothing away from experience and wisdom. But a man is not going out there saying, I'm looking for a woman with experience, and I'm going out there and looking for a woman with wisdom. Even though those things can bode well for him, a man is a visual creature. He likes what he sees. I remember I dated this woman, was way over my age, okay? She was way over my age. I think this woman was like, she was like 14 years older than me. She was gorgeous, though. She was gorgeous. And I remember when I used to get with her, it's like physically she could not. And she had a drive, but she physically could not get with me as much as she wanted to get with me. Because I was wearing her out. And she wanted to. But she just, it's like my mind wants to. But my body just ain't doing what my mind is telling me. I'm sorry. I'll catch you on the next one. I gotta go. I gotta run. Now, I know some women, they're just like, well, shoot, I can do that. But it ain't got to necessarily be the physical part. It could be the mental part. It can be the emotional part. It could be something. But it's something for somebody that over the course of time, it has taken a toll. I'm telling you. And to be real and to be honest, she was 14 years my senior. I was not financially where I needed to be. I mean, I had a job. I mean, I was making decent money, but I mean, I was not financially where I needed to be. My credit was not where it needed to be. All of those different types of things. So, I mean, it took its toll too. So what I'm saying is, you got to make sure, ladies, that you understand your window of opportunity and that you seize the moment. If you don't take anything else from what I'm saying today, just take from me that you need to seize the moment. If you're over that age or whatever the case may be, don't have your standards. So you're going to have to lower your standards a little bit. I'm just telling you, you're going to have to lower them down to realistic. I'm not saying drop your standards just to be dropping them. But what I'm just saying is you have to make your standards match what you bring to the table of market value, not what you value, but the market value of you is what you're going to have to work with. Because if you lead with things that don't matter, or if you lead with a standard feature as if it's a exclusive feature, you're just going to get laughed at. Can't talk about how good and how, I'm so experienced in the bed. I'm the throat goat. I'm the, oh my gosh, I'm this, I'm that, I'm blah, 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 blah. Man, child, please. Any guy is going to say, yeah, whatever you say. Just like P. Diddy said to Young Miami. We go together? Whatever you say. We will let you hear whatever you want to hear. So you can just be quiet. And we can get what it is we want. And we can be done when we done. So, yep. But that's my time. Right below the screen, if you want to, if you have questions or for bookings, just go ahead and hit me up at thoughtofleandre@gmail.com. That email is right below in the description. Also, please like this video. Okay. Please comment on this video. Talk to me nice. And also share this video and subscribe to this channel. All right. I love you guys.